Good morning friends, this is in continuation to my 98th video, this is my 99th video. We are touching the topic of STR. I as your president, Mr. Raghavinder Das of All India Cantonment Bungalow cum Resident Owners Association, I have been explaining you how STR was influxed on us in 1867. So which finally drives your lease money or your house tax. So 1925 CLA rules were abolished and finally we were given 1937 CLA rules. But it is very surprising, once again I would rebrush that 1889 and 1912 code does not speak of this STR. The STR is spoken in the Cantonment Act, but it is spoken on an annual rental value. So what was this annual rental? Now I'll just try and explain you in a more simpler manner. The Britishers were more keen to penny or penalize everybody for the land which they holded. So these all old grants were basically revenue free grants. So there was no lagan, I would put it, or there was no land revenue. So now this land revenue could not have been influxed on these old grants, because had it been done, our proprietary rightship would have been confirmed. So just to wait that doing, so they tried to influx things in a different manner, which was called the STR. So this land revenue method, which was being influxed on old grant, has to be understood, was basically in the form of a rent or a tax, which could be called house. Now the same STR under CLA rules 1937 under section 8, it speaks of the same formula which has been spoken in 1925. But there is an amazing point that here we come across a judgment of 1876, which was calculated for Barrackpur cantonment, and it was a compensation. So in that same judgment, the Honorable Court is using Land Acquisition Act section 23 for compensation. And it is saying, let us presume if the building or the life of the building is for next uses can be put for 20 to 30 years, what would be the income derived by the owner? So let's compensate him with that amount which is to be. So vice versa, either we pay the government, which is 5 or 3%, or the government pays us back at the time of compensation this value. Today it is very important why this STR needs to be understood. In Rule 8 of 1937, again it was multiplied by 20 times of the annual rent into 30 years, subdivided into the premium value. Where is this premium value coming? We don't know. So what do? Today the government is asking us, the new Cantonment Land Administration Rules 2020 have been influxed. Nowhere in those rules the expired lease are to be renewed in a new format. They have not to be renewed in either of 1889 or 1912 or 1925 CLA or 1937. Now they will be renewed under the 2020 CLA rules, and which clearly says you will be paying the market value, and market value is derived from STR. So this is very important. But here I will give you a catch. The Britishers very clearly in 1889, 1912, 1925, 1937 wrote that whenever a lease matures or expires, there has to be a surrender deed. Where is that? So we'll talk of it later. So will our renewals take in the shape how Britishers did it as per this STR formula, or will this formula change? You will be shocked. In 1985, the entire standard table rent was changed. And if you read chapter volume 2, 19 of Cantonment Laws, you will see how STR is. So here we have now members in the STR committee. You know, somewhere the government is trying to make it sound as if people, there is a set of people who are defining this. Who are the set of people? Station commander, MEO and collector. You will be surprised, the cantonment magistrate, which was holding a power till 1924, was abolished. And then an SDM was given under that same rule too, who was subjected to be as a city magistrate of the cantonment. But have you ever seen the city magistrate being active in your cantonment? No. So where is the interest of the collector to be a part of this STR committee? No. None of the board members, neither the president of the cantonment, which is an elected body. So this again in 1985, it was said that these three people will sit down, and now the collector will give a collector rate of these cantonments, and the station commander or the CO will divide the cantonment into zones A, B, C. So the components which were added now in STR was earlier from 1967 to Rule 10 of 1925, we were subjected to the annual rental value. Now here they added annual building value. What is my building's built up estates value on the MES SSR rates of now 2010 or 20, I think, I don't know, but I think it is 2010. Further, the most dangerous point in flux was the static value of land. Now, what is this static value? Please try and understand. It is a value where Mr. A sells his bungalow to B, or Mr. B buys the bungalow from A. So let's presume a bungalow sells for an amount, and that amount is known to the department or the CO. He will influx that static value and exorbitantly would increase your STR rate. And the funniest part is, the approval will be given by the collector on this. So how does all this happen now? And so there is a team, there is a collector rate which comes in, that is called the tahsil or the registry rates, and then these rates are taken on the same system and a basic value is calculated. Let's say in 1985, it was calculated that the STR of my cantonment was 17 rupees. So now next 3 years or 5 years, either of the DOs are doing, let's say there was an increase in the collector rate of about averagely 10 to 15%, or maybe substantially in either of one zone 50%. So the MU has the power, he will not take an average. He may take the highest value, that is 50%, and influx the STR which was of the preceding year, that it increases by 50%. Now if he doesn't want to do that either, he may take the static rate. Now let's say the static rate has grown 1000% to the STR value which was preceding. He will say the STR rate is 1000% increase, and believe me, the collector will endorse this. He will approve this doing. Has anybody challenged this? No. Has anybody done anything on this topic? No. Why? Because we people are not united. We are not one, and the ministry knows this. We are such a divided lot that even today, after 15 years of my hard work, we do not want to talk to our neighbors. Now, the third most change what was brought in 1985. The Britishers had made the Land Revenue Act on per biga, per acre of land revenue. And now, in cantonments, they are converting it into square meters. That also has been taken to per 10 square meters. Why? Why not do it the biga or the acre wise? Because government is, actually trying to hyphenate this entire cobweb into such a way that we people are unable to understand all this. But here there is a catch here. Now whatever the STR rate is coming to, let's say there is an influx of this much, how much it has to be charged? It says only 2.5% of the annual value or the rental value. Is any department doing that? Have you ever calculated what notices have come to you through lease values? So friends, please watch my videos, study them, read them, tell your local advocates to understand them. Why there is a lacuna that it can be done 3 years or it can even be done at 5 years. So these collector rates are becoming very subjective. On one ground, I'm on a group of some Meerut cantonment. There one person had written that if we say we are not including the collector rate of the land, we are claiming that we are the owners of the land. We do not need to claim we are the owners. Old grant itself means that we are owners of the land. And the house tax regime statute speaks that house tax is charged with land along with building. But look at our travesty. We are so uneducated. Please friends, there is going to be a huge lease problem. The government is not interested. It has already got a notification in 2020 that the 2017 policy may be taken for another year till the new format of the policy is not being drafted. Please get in touch with me. I would be grateful, because if you people get in touch with me, then we are in a position to get all things in table. You know, if we start fighting together, if we start actually understanding all this, why is the DC doing this? Why is the MU not taking us on part? Why isn't this paper a public paper? Why is it done at the back of us? There's so many questions which we need to ask, and when somebody is doing something at the back of you and increasing your house tax or STR, he needs to be answerable. All those people whose leases have expired, whether in civil area in Tremendous or in bungalow area, please wake up. Otherwise, one notice, I have a case of Kasoli where a 115 square meter plot has been taxed 6 lakh rupees annually. Will you be able to pay that? You were basically paying 40 to 50 rupees for that property. So please get in touch. I'll be grateful. Once again, we are old grants, never converted into new grants. Thank you. Good day.